You are now listening to Conscientization 101, an online magazine combining reflection, music, and action through independent media.
It's very important to be with conscious African women and men. And I'm very excited to see Conscientization 101, to see Sister Zari there and the brother James, and to see that you have started an organization to conscientize the world, especially African people, about what's really going on in this world. Conscientization
101. A lot of these people right now in this conscious, so-called conscious movement, they're not actually living in that lifestyle. Bakers. That's why, obviously yourself, we're on the same sort of frequency. That's why you're listening to the same things I'm listening to, because we're sharing that same sort of thought. We want the same sort of things, and a lot of people don't want the same sort of things. Even yourself, what you're doing now is for the people. So everything is people-based. Globally conscientizing.
What's making me proud of what this kind of connection here is that, no matter what is said, no matter what is done, you leave listening to our music with a feeling. The same way we're going to leave this conversation with a feeling. And that is the most important thing for I and I, the vibe and the energy and the feeling that you leave with, because you might not remember every lyric, but you're going to remember the feeling. So that's really important, and that's what I'm getting from what you're doing.
Welcome to another episode of Conscientization 101, Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conscientization 101 Podcast. I am your host and managing editor, Zari Sundiata, for this day's episode of Conscientization 101 Podcast. And today, we will be concluding our two-part series entitled A Complementary Bond, You and Me with Asabi Hawah and Raggo Zulu Rebel. And as in the first part, these are only excerpts from our dialogue that we had with You and Me, which includes Asabi and Raggo on July 22nd, 2017, which was 2.5 hours, so thus 2 parts. In this conclusion of our series, we explored with You and Me the importance of conscientization and understanding African identity within the proper context and the development of specific songs on their critically acclaimed debut album, Folk Songs. Okay, so before we get into the show, we thought we would share with you a bit of the phenomenal work that both Asabi and Raggo produce as individual artists. The impetus behind us doing this is to showcase their songs as individual artists, so that if you haven't already picked up Folk Songs and you think their individual work is dope, then you already know their collective efforts are simply priceless. So without further ado, we are going to get this show on the road, but first, we gotta go back to the basics.
Big bad and bossy, dark glass head wrapped like a roti. Fat tash and a goatee. If you're not the next champ, no, don't approach me. I got the golden belt and the trophy. Lonely at the top, I was just getting cozy. Next man are only cheap imitations, please look at it closely. Round that I walk slowly is turning holy. As the world around bows down below me, bow down, show me respect like an OG. Allow me to get back to the proceeds, count the beads on your rosaries. Believe I got what the roads need as I count the P's, breaking keys into OZs. I'll be on that next flight, OT to OG. Let me take it back to the basics, back down to the foundations. Every last one of them doubted I would make it. Watch as I take it back to the basics, back to the basics, back down to the foundation. Every last one of them doubted I would make it. Watch as I take it back to the basics. when I chat, I don't take it back. If you feel offended, react like a maniac. Now maybe this or maybe that. Don't like what I say, take the CD out and make it snap. So no one else can play it back. Don't apologize, I take it back to the basic facts. Lay it down flat like table mat. Paid in cash, now it's time to make it back. Like pancake, make it stack till it's a pocket full of awards, fat like paperbacks. Take it back to Africa and gave it back to the poor. Can't ignore the fact that my face is black. Ever since they first claimed the map, raped the motherland and now she don't know where her baby's at. But I'm faithful that the King of Kings crown can't come off like no cradle cap. Let me take it back to the basics, back down to the foundations. Every last one of them doubted I would make it. Watch as I take it back to the basics, back to the basics, back down to the foundation. Every last one of them doubted I would make it. Watch as I take it back to the basics.
Take away the cobbled stones so we can glide to make it seem we're getting higher. If only we could breathe new meaning into speaking and not just perpetrated heavenly receiving. Well, if it's weight and gold, in my hands your heart I'd hold. Envelope, beloved, beautiful, believing. Sometimes the prophets say the stars align, so let us pray. And if the darkness comes, we've got enough, so let's be brave. Angel warrior, the story your desire writes. Flames across my soul, a fire in my heart ignites. Ain't it funny how the sweetest words are said in vain? Inspired for the love we curiously cause in pain. Ain't it funny how I opened up my heart to you? Like slitting veins and pouring out, I did it all for you. Hold me. Not ready to let go, yeah. Whoa, 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 ba, ba, ba. Hold me. Not ready to let go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't let me fall. Kiss me now and wipe away the tears that stream my face. Hurry, take me out this godforsaken lonely place. But who's escaping when this prison is the one you've made? And breaking out is really safe for just a rainy day. And putting pennies down but never really making change. Loving someone who can never really feel the same. Loving someone who could never really truly do what's best for you and what's right for you. Wasted love is always given to the weaker souls. I got the down, decided to break up a happy home. I'm not bitter, just indifferent to the goings on. Meditating on the heartache just to write the song. Life's a picture, doesn't matter what you're looking through. Time to own it, don't miss out on what's in front of you. Life's a picture, doesn't matter what you're looking through. Time to own it, don't miss out on what's in front of you. Hold me. Not ready to let go, yeah. Whoa, 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 ba da da. I say, hold me. Not ready to let go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't let me fall. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't you let me fall. I say, no, 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 no. Whoa, 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 ba da da. I say, no, no. no, no, no. Don't you let me fall. I said, no, 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 no. Boo, 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 ba, da, da. I said, hold me. Now ready to let go, yeah. Don't you let me fall. I said, hold me.
This is the next question, but it's just wanted y'all to chime in on this in terms of kind of what we're going on, what we're saying. I'm remember just read this real quick quote because I think it kind of elucidates to the point what I'm trying to ask, and it's from Hawah Raggo. His book's called "The Remembering the Dismembered Continent," and it's
Good book.
Yes, it's a book called "Remembering the
That's
Dismembered."
a good book.
Oh yeah, that's right. I said it. There you go.
Yeah, you sent him that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, there we go. See, I could be forgetting, man. I'm old, man. Shoot. And
That was the book. That was telling me about the Mdupe, the rain.
yeah,
and the
there you
novelty.
go. There you go.
man.
And it has to be slow and calm. There you go. Yeah.
Consistent, a little bit of rain all the time, as opposed to just a big hype up, jump up, jump up. That book was real, man.
Hey man, hey, we need to have you back on and talk about the book. Anyway, that's all. Great. But Hawah Raggo, he's talking to. It's a rebuttal. He's talking to. He wrote a letter to Chinua Achebe because Chinua Achebe, he's the author of Things Fall Apart. Chinua Achebe said in a conference, like, just made an offhanded comment. I read somewhere that Hawah Raggo says he doesn't even say he's an African writer, and Hawah Raggo is like, I never said that. And and one of the things you know about Achebe's writing, I'm not really fond of Achebe's writing. I'll just say that right now. He always bigs up, he's an Igbo, Igbo, which I have no, problem with it, but that's, I put my African identity before my African American identity. But anyway, this is what he said because he was.
You see that though? You see that he hit the nail on the head. Tribalism isn't new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not new. So enough time we're trying to change this problem, and you think it comes from the thing of, like you're saying, the colonization but before the change, we was already in it. Some of the things are just human nature. You're gonna vibe with your tribe.
You're gonna vibe with your tribe until you get out, until that becomes detrimental. That's why you gotta get out of that. You see what I'm saying?
True.
Because this is what he.
That's what popped down Africa in the first place.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And this is what he said. He said, he told Achebe to that comment, he said, I am an African. I'll speak more plainly to you. I am not and never have been a tribalist. I do not take my identity from some clannish fragment of Africa's vast humanity, relegating the rest of our people to the outer fringes of a narrow psyche. Further, an African identity is not something I have lately discovered after the death of a tribalist dream closer to my heart. I was born an African, not an Iwi, not a Fanta, and not an Nzima, not an Igbo. I was born straddling tribes and languages, so that from infancy, I had an identity beyond tribes, an African identity. I am infallibly grateful, ineffably grateful for this lucky natural fact. Achebe, that my identity as an African came to me as a birthright, right from the basic biological facts of my being. With me, an African identity is not some desperate saving abstraction belatedly grasped. And I like what he said there because I see a lot of people running around trying to say they're African just so they can, but they don't really want to follow that through to its utmost political ramifications. And one of the things, when you understand the study of Africa, you understand that, before even the European transatlantic slave trade, we had the Greco-Roman invasion of Nile Valley civilization. We also had, which gave you the Ptolemies, the dynasty of the Ptolemies from Alexander the Greek. I ain't saying nothing great about him. And then you got the Arab invasions. And so what we did was we formed all these different, I don't even like to say tribes in the sense because that's a colonial term, but different ethnic groups and ethnic nationalities. And we were made to forget the common one, which is African. And that's going to be the real beautiful project to come along. And now you got little Negroes trying to claim African and just say, because they can feel special. I don't claim it because I feel special. I know what I am and I got a political project. And so but they still don't see no possibilities with Africa. You see, they just want to assert something because they hear the little white person say over here, well, I'm Irish, I'm Swedish and stuff. And then they want to say, well, I'm African. But you got to understand something. We ain't talking like we some group within the European family. That has a whole set of different ramifications. And so when I hear the song, Diaspora and stuff like that. And I hear what you have it throughout the song, throughout the album. And I would just want to know, what did y'all think about how we have to move forward under this one African identity? Not to say you can't say you're from Jamaica. Not to say I can't say I learned about being African first and foremost in America. But guess what? If you move here, you're going to be an African in Texas. And you still, but what's common, what is primary is the African identity. That ethnic crap.
It's the context. It's the context, because enough people will know something. Other people know the same information that you know, but if they haven't got it in the right context or set up, it's like the foundation's all messed up. So whereas I had a friend of mine, and he kind of started locking up. He was wrestling up or whatever, and he had a stepdaughter, and his stepdaughter came out one day, and she was talking about wrestling. She was saying, "I big up all the Jamaican gods," and I was like, "Oh, you missed the point." Just missed the point, kind of thing. But that's because no one's not talking to her. No one's not debating it with her. So this is her perception. When she goes around the Caribbean people or the Jamaican people, she notices red, gold, and green flags. She sees Selassie pictures and the drumming and makes that thing. But whereas no one is, she's just seeing things. She's inheriting it secondhand. And no one's not discussing or debating what the information is that she's seeing with it to give her the context for her to kind of get a better grasp of what she's dealing with. And a lot of people do that. And that's just the same even with people's blackness. Like a lot of times, a lot of time you want to get it from a second hand or from an external perspective, and from a second hand or an external perspective. So when people are teaching you about yourself, or when you don't know for yourself, then you can only go from that. Even like I had this debate or discussion with someone about us being called black people, and I would say that was a descriptive word. That's an external. You know what I mean? Because that's how people have perceived it. See, like Ethiopia, for example, being Ethiopia's land of the black faces. That's how you've been seen. That's not necessarily who you are, exactly. or how you feel.
And a lot of groups get labelled from where they're from. Asians, Europeans, this, that. We're the only people that are referred to as a colour before we're referred to as our land where we come
from. But then that's also though historical,
right.
Because people have been perceiving us from long before other places had identity. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like people have been seeing black faces since the beginning of time, or from there've been other people. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so whereas that's been the longest thing, from there's been other people they've perceived us as black people, seen us as, you know, you see a Planet Ape, see a monkey, it's a monkey, it's different to me, kind of thing. You've seen from there's been people, kind of thing, whereas other people have developed themselves after that timeline, after that fact. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, I've just jumped back in and I'm not sure what stemmed from the question, but I just want to add my little 2 pence worth.
Donate.
Please.
You know, for me, like, especially as a mother of I have a little girl, she's 10, and like for me as a woman, as a female, and as an African female, it's very important that I instill identity and self into my child, because these people will rob her of everything she is. So from the moment she was in my womb, basically, you know, I'm telling her all about herself. I'm telling her about who we are and what we are. And it's like when she got to school, like she has natural hair. She had she begged me to locks her hair because I have locks, obviously. She begged me to locks her hair, and I said to her that she had to get to an age where she was emotionally ready to do so, because if she no longer want her locks, then she would have to start her hair journey again, because I'm not spending hours picking out the locks to
exactly. You cut that off.
So I said that to her, and then she begged me solidly for a year. So when she was about 8 and a half, I started her locks journey, and she has beautiful locks, and she's a beautiful child. And when I started her locks journey at school, it was very interesting because people were happy to see a little African child with afro hair, afro puffs, cane rolls, and all of that. But the minute they saw a little African child with locks, they had so many questions for her. And even friends and family who know me, who know what I'm about, who know that I'm a very proud African woman, and I just resonate everything about that. Oh, you've locked her hair. Oh, are you sure about that? But when it was me and I had locked my hair, oh, you look so beautiful. Oh, it really suits you. Oh, I can't even remember you having any other thing to do with your hair.
For a child
to have her culture, it was like, oh, what? So, but if I had relaxed her hair, if I'd put chemicals in her hair, chemicals that could burn her skin and damage her, that would have been acceptable.
But you know why? That would have been acceptable? Because that's a submission to the state. That's a submission to all things and to yourself. And to do it at a child age is making it easier for them to
to breed into the system.
All right, so if you turn around and do that, you're giving the child, it's almost like, oh, you sure you want to give the child that cross to bear?
Exactly.
That's a burden. But that's who you are. But being who you are, that is a statement in itself. Being who you are is a burden or even it's an offense to the state.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you're making a mark in the sand.
Yeah, and some people tried to take it to the step where I was forcing it upon her. And it's like, I'm sorry, but I have conversations with my child. We speak.
Right.
And we have conversations and we talk things through so that we can understand what it is we're trying to get to. Mm-hmm. And my daughter is very much, anytime anyone in her class tries to say anything derogatory about Africa and African or anything to do with the African culture, she will not have it. And she's been like that from day one. And it's because she sees me very proud of who I am. So I have to make sure that she is very proud of who she is. Yeah. So she'll come home and she'll be like, oh, you know, it's so rude because they have multicultural day where people can basically at the school, we have certain celebrations. So we celebrate when it's Eid, and people come in their Eid clothes, in their cultural clothes, and we have Eid parties. She said, there's no day set aside for Africans to come and celebrate their culture. I said, I know, that's why you must celebrate your day every day, because no one's going to give you a day and you shouldn't ask for a day. You walk and talk and be who you are so that nobody has to question anything about you. The minute they see you, the minute you open your mouth and speak to them, they know exactly who you are and what you are about, you know? So when I first started the locks and they realized that I was locksing her hair, oh, can I touch it? Just started trying to touch her hair.
Oh man, I know what that's like.
Do not let anybody touch your hair. Are you a dolly? Are you a toy?
That's when you go Solange in the elevator.
Like you a puppy or something.
Them crackers always doing that crap.
Yeah, they sure do.
What? I'm sorry.
So, you know, and I would have I'd have children try and even this week actually, because I've got like curly red locks at the moment and I work with children. And so the minute I changed my hair, they all was just like, oh my gosh, and literally just trying to touch it. And every single one of them, I'd be very stern, do not touch my hair. I know that's I'm not a toy. I'm not a doll. If you've just done your hair and someone touches it, will you be happy with that? No. So do not touch my hair.
I know that's right.
They were trying to touch my waves, man. You're like, boy.
I know that's right. I'm just, you know? I just have to say that it is a bunch of Negroes out here, and it's kind of like what you're saying. Like they may not say they're African, but it's what did Robert Allen say? They're trying to capitalize on this whole being African thing, right? Mm-hmm. So you know you got this whole natural hair movement, which is a sickening movement. Okay, you can read. I wrote an article about it. I've already mentioned it, and I said everything I had to say in that. But it's people promoting this idea that you can touch my hair so we can have this
petting zoo. A petting zoo.
And they had black women standing out there for white women to touch their hair, and I was like, now this is appalling. You know, and then they doing this in the name of promoting a dialogue, but no, that's not what you're doing. What you're trying to do is get noticed, so some white people will pick you up.
And why we gotta have a dialogue with them? I don't know. I know what you done did.
Exactly.
We need a dialogue with ourselves. I need to learn about my Africans in Brazil. And you know what I'm saying?
Even like you're saying about a dialogue, if you really want a dialogue, just go and speak to someone.
Seriously.
Have a conversation. Go on the internet.
That's what I'm saying.
Go
You're
to the bus stop.
To make a name for yourself.
Have a real dialogue.
What you're doing. Yeah.
All right.
That's exactly right.
Hey, that's exactly
when
right.
there's website, when there's internet, if you really as an individual had that real concern, you work with 1 million people from all kinds of walks of life, all kinds of cultural, ethnic backgrounds, whatever the case. Like, have a real combo.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, I know this might sound a bit awkward, but can I have a conversation? Yeah. Over some, we're gonna go Starbucks and have a chat. Do you know what I mean, or whatever? Have a chat. But where you're trying to do website, info, blog, filming, direct.
Trying to make
you can bank up and sell this for the experience for $9.99. They're selling your lifestyle again. And back to what you were saying about her hair and it being the one-off or whatever the case may be, and back to having a day, and that's back to what we were talking about Madupe, the rain.
Yes, sir.
Steady rain. When it's steady rain, it's not good because it's not going anywhere. It's going to grow. It's going to cultivate. When it's the pop-up kind of thing, if, for example, she had the relaxer and did this and whatever, but then came in one day with folks locks for a week and then went away, you'd be, oh, this is lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
But where it's consistent and where it's not going nowhere and where it is, back to what I was saying earlier about Santa Claus and all these things and whatever, it's foundation. You're setting a foundation from a young age of cement, which isn't going to go anywhere, and you're going to cause problems later on down the line for me, or you're going to make it awkward for me because I don't want to have that real dialogue. I want someone else to have the dialogue so I can feel okay about it, so I can raise up the article. Oh, by the way, I read this article the other day, but it's where people aren't willing to deal with pink elephant in room or get to the real. And we're so normalized into this being PC or being normal or being, as opposed to just being real. Like, this is how I actually feel, or this is, I don't know, or what do you think? Or instead of getting to the real crux of it, there's so much unsaid.
And one of the things I want to reiterate is like me personally, and I do this. I love all of my African people. This African, I don't like no Negroes, but the thing about it is I
don't like them.
Oh no,
even a little bit.
Nothing but hatred, brother. But the thing is, I also talk. I'm one of these brothers that like, if some people want to have a dialogue, that's fine. I don't want to talk to none of them personally. Because my whole thing.
But there's enough people out there that do, so you don't have to.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, where she wanted to tell her other guy do TV magazine or whatever, if it was a sincere investigation or a sincere query, there's things that you want to know. And you went to one guy and he's got tats or he does this and da-da-da-da. So you say, hey, Dave.
Yeah.
What one for that? And you're like, oh, it's this. Bam. And you get on with your day. Do you know what I mean? If it was real, you really wanted to know that, because Ben is that, why you want to turn around and get NBC there?
Exactly.
And get QBS there.
And get YouTube videos with this gimmick. You know?
And get Puffy to do the soundtrack.
Yeah,
and get Teddy Riley to play the keys.
Exactly.
And
right.
Man. But the thing about it is, my whole thing is this. I work with different people of all nationalities. You know what I'm saying? I respect individuals and stuff like that, but I know my relationship with certain individuals, not the history of a history of a whole people. And I will say this: it's certain things I don't care if they're not gonna dialogue with me. I don't care if we are cool, whatever. That's just me personally.
Yeah, but they know the boundaries of their relationship.
Exactly with me.
But that makes sense.
Exactly. And my whole thing is, I want to if I'm on dialogue with anybody, dialogue to me means you talking to Bill, and I only want to do that with my people because we up against it. Like, for instance,
you got more pressing things to talk about.
Yeah, because I mean we're all over the world, and like what I said, when we learned about your music and other people, and reading all this stuff that we know about our people, you've lost a lot of stuff. So when you say the motherland don't know where her baby's at, that's a real. If you really look into that line, we've lost so much, and we have so much to regain. Yeah. Why the hell I need to learn stuff about the experience over there? Who am I, an expert, to go tell some white person what do I want? What am I want out of that? I don't want nothing out of it. And my whole thing about it is like this. Just like y'all, Sister Asabi, what you described, we felt that in our heart. What Raggo, you said we felt that in our heart. That's the one light vibration of Africa. Not no African American, not no black Brit, whatever the hell that is. It's African people. And because here's the thing. Just like I was reading a book about, in Ghana and stuff like that, the slave castles, Elmina and all that stuff, they turned it into, I know under Rollins, they turned, that's in Ghana, y'all. They made it, can you hear me? Okay. And they turned it into like a neoliberal, like tourist type site and stuff like that. So, the thing is, I'm saying is, if all of us as African people should feel that they family got lost in the trade. You see what I'm saying? And just like this, and I'll say it like this, if enough of us don't feel it on the continent and enough of us don't understand because of brainwash, colonial education, that when they raided us and stole us, they set that Berlin Conference and colonialism on us back home. We just got it first, and then we lost that because I've never heard one Jew. Now, I'm not privy to the inner workings of their group, but I never hear them say that the Jewish Holocaust happened to the German Jews. Yeah. They say it happened to Jewish people. So when we say that slavery and colonialism, I feel what they did to Dedan Kamate and the Mau Mau. That's why they don't like your daughter's locks, because they see Dedan Kamate and they kick the British ass.
I wrote that down. The British got a long history because dreadlocks came from the fact that they saw Dedan coming there with his hair like that, and they called it dreadlocks. That's where it comes from.
And they call me dread devil, whatever. History, that's what I be.
And even if the average one don't know, they all got that cultural history, that cultural memory. That's where it comes
And
from.
we gonna have Zeus versus Ogun. That's what we finna have. Ogun.
That's not even, I wouldn't even pay to see that on pay-per-view, man. That's a first round knockout, man. That's some Mike Tyson. All you gotta do is eat MC. You know? Get cannabis to come and wrap him in on the way in the ring.
That made me think of that old video, man. But anyway, did you
run 100 miles and saw sand?
Did you want to say something?
I was going to say that's the long history because the British remember the Mau Mau. And then also, when you were talking about people who just say they're African, I was also going to say that is a niche also for these Black Power pimps to say that they're African, yes, and they can sell these tickets and make this money, whatever the heck they're doing now. I don't even know. But that's also one thing. And when they call us Black, and they don't call us African, that's to separate us from Africa. Because I don't know if I told this story on this podcast before, but it was this guy, and he was Jewish at one of my old jobs, and he said something, and I said, well, I could be from Ethiopia. I don't know. Oh, well, you've been here so long. You're American now. But he was still Jewish.
Okay? Exactly.
He was still Jewish.
And Americanism is an ideology. It's an ideology.
Uh-huh.
It's a box.
It's a box. Yes.
It's a box. It's a box that you put yourself in. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was talking to you earlier about, that conditioning in the 50s to make everyone, and that's when the whole communism thing was, it was we and they. Us and them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was separating you from being a human being to those people there that are a threat to our resources over here and us over there, the tribalism psychology, you know?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
And all that does is give you the Munchausen syndrome or whatever it's called when you love your oppressor. You love the Stockholm syndrome, where you love that key holder to your box because, if I wasn't in this box, they would have got me.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Would you be living bad? You'd be living bad in poverty.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And nobody, and the thing about it, nobody comes to, we always talk about, well, look at Beyonce. Well, damn, Beyonce don't even look Black, like an African no more. She looks like
seriously.
She's a creature.
So many times you see her on the cover and you think it's a white woman until you recognize the face.
Beyonce,
like,
Beyonce ain't Black no more. She's OJ. She's OJ.
She's advertising hair products that have nothing to do with the wig that she put in her head.
Beyonce is OJ status now, yeah? She ain't Black no more until she catches a body.
Exactly.
And some blood on the Bronco.
Right.
Yeah, when Solange goes buck wild again, and then she got to go Thelma and Louise. Then she'll be Black again.
You know?
Diaspora, spread it out like flora. Across the bread in every crevice, every corner. Every mother brethren and every door to the glory of the kings. It resonates within your aura. Your story starts before the Bibles, Qurans, and Torahs. Small, you're a child of her or her diaspora. Sometimes you cry the Western world, try ignore her. Wouldn't be nowhere today if it wasn't for her diaspora.
Y'all to talk about the two songs Because I'm telling you, if heaven was a mile away, sometimes I would have packed up these bags too.
You took my question.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's your question. That is your, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. That's your question.
Well, we just wanted, you could have finished it, but it doesn't matter. We wanted y'all to talk about, because like I said, we love the whole album, but The Bond and Heaven, those are two songs that we wanted y'all to talk about from the album. Like, what was that? What's those about?
Okay, so The Bond is written about someone we met and we got to know. So Raggo and I, every year, we do a project with a company called Upress. And what Upress does is they look at a vulnerable group in society, say it's homeless people or people labelled ex-offenders or people labelled immigrants, migrants and refugees. They get people to voluntarily join the project, and those people then get partnered with an artist, be it a poet, singer, MC, rapper, whatever. They tell us their story and we turn their story into a piece. So the young man that we spoke about in The Bond, he told us his story, and we came up with the idea of telling his story through the three most important women in his life, because as he told us his story, well, he told me his story, and it just kind of seemed like he went through different stages in his life, and they related to the particular woman in his life at that time. So in The Bond, we talk about his mother, we talk about his ex-partner, and we talk about his grandmother. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a mother-child relationship with his mother. He had that with like his grandmother, as opposed to his ex. And obviously that will have a knock-on effect on a child. You know, if you don't have that nurturing maternal relationship from day one with the person who gave birth to you, no matter who else tries to give you that kind of relationship, you're still going to be lacking, because you're still going to have it in the back of your mind that, oh, I wasn't good enough, or they didn't want me, or they didn't love me enough, and all of that. So we start off with that relationship there where he had this female who maybe to him, she didn't love him enough to play that role that she should have. Then the second part of it is his partner. What kind of man is he to her? What kind of woman is she to him? Is she inspiration or is she just decoration, you know? And it's kind of his journey through that part of his life and recognizing what he lacked, what he didn't do, what he could have done, and what he did do. And then it comes full circle going to his grandmother, who was the only female to be the real root in his life. And it talks about just him recognizing that he has to go back to the lessons that his grandmother taught him when he was young, that he didn't pay enough mind to at the time, and he didn't carry the weight of at the time because he was too busy distracting himself with the fact that he didn't have that relationship with his mother. He wasn't having successful relationships with his female counterparts. And so The Bond is just talking about, when we say The Bond, we're talking about those three bonds specifically that you have, you know, your mother, your female inspiration and spirit, and your partner in life, you know, and the strength of those bonds and the energy that you get from those bonds, and whether or not they are productive for you or detrimental to what you're trying to do with your life. And then Heaven. Raggo, would you like to take Heaven? And I, do you know what? I absolutely love Heaven.
Oh, I do too. That's a peppermint song right there.
I absolutely love singing it. When I sing it, I go into a next place. I meditate when I sing that song.
Yeah, that's a nice song.
Yeah.
As well, with it being folk songs, a lot of time we kind of put this thing on. It has to be like some old time song, or maybe it's got to be some old Negro spiritual, or maybe it's got to be a Bob Dylan song, or I don't know what the kind of thing. But there's this thing on, like, you know, this thing on time, and it being old, and it has to be. But like, folk songs were songs that told like what people were going through, or where people are at, or
the
whatever.
Current culture, the current
kind of thing. And so it's bringing that modern day kind of folk song. So Nas is one of the writers of our time. He's one of the people that turn around and like if you, and especially you see like where they kind of, like we said to you, lifestyles, and they try to sell you like pin you to one side or the other. So like for our generation, it was Nas or Jay. You know what I mean? If all the man that was on this money thing, on this hustling thing, on this kind of more the capitalistic kind of aspect, you went over with the Jay-Z thing kind of thing. And then all the man that was kind of a bit more about thinking philosophy, the world or whatever, even in the names, Jay-Z, Jazzy, like Nas, Nasir, like, it says it all. Like if you go back a generation, it was Rakim and maybe someone like Slick Rick or something. Do you know what I mean? And they always will put the pin the two against each other. Do you know what I mean? There'll be some kind of battle. It wasn't even Slick Rick. Who was it? Was it Rakim and Big Daddy Kane?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Big Daddy Kane, the player, the lover, the
Yep.
Rakim, the God MC. And so it's that same kind of pinning people against the two opposites. Or, when you've got the Power Rangers, you'll get one that's that way, one that's that way, one that's that way. They're always selling you an aspect so you can feel comfortable to relate to it no matter who you are and on one level or another. You've got two ends of the spectrum. So with Nas kind of representing for that aspect, that God MC, that spiritual, that something like that, we wanted to bring him through kind of thing. And like one of the other songs that we did, not to step away from the question, but was the Mellow Mood. That was Bob Marley. Then we did another one, Gregory Isaacs. What was that? Sunday Morning. Do you know what I mean? So it's from different angles of what this folk thing is. And we kind of just brought it down. Like enough people won't know those songs. And so they now live on in other people's perspective, or people that don't like rap music or people that don't like reggae music. It's just switching up the context a bit, but kind of giving it to you in a different style, I suppose.
And I think everyone can relate to the Heaven chorus because at some point or other, you go back to that feeling of like, I need to get away from all of this. This is not for me.
Yes.
Or, so that feeling always will forever resonate with people.
Yeah.
And then obviously, say like, would it be in a Ras and the Trod and just throughout my music, you always see me talking about On the Road to Zion. Well, I'm not going to Palestine, am I? Do you know what I mean? So, and even if I did, I'm not trying to go there and set up because that's North Africa. So that's not the problem. But what I'm saying is it's not, it's a consistent thing of how do we get there? How did we get kind of thing? We're close. We're Jordan. We've been on the road to Zion. We're almost there. But how do we get there? And if it is a mile away, what is it that we need to do to kind of cut our ties to this?
Yes.
Whether it be the physical place or whether it be what is it that you need to do? So if it's just a ride away, just a bus ride away, I'd move now, isn't it? But what do I have to do?
Yeah.
A lot of people want their pie in the sky. They want to turn around and die and go to heaven, but they don't want to die, So it's a balance of all these kind of ideologies and perspectives.
And it's also, what does heaven mean to you? Because it may not just be on the spiritual plane. You
might want it now. Yeah.
How do you build? Okay, heaven to you may be a content life, but then how are you getting to that content life? Are you is it through your career? Is it through your family? Is it like, what does heaven mean to you?
And then once you achieve it, how do you protect it? How do you save that? How do you balance that? You know what I mean? You turn around and you hit your utopia, you're in Zen, and then you're like, you're living this vegan-free peace and love life and whatever, and it's all happy and everyone you're dealing with, and then you see your neighbor and he's just mad and he's sucking on a pork chop and he's a butcher and all these kind of things that are having a complete adverse effect on your life. You know what I mean? When you're trying to live your little free and vegan life and he's cutting up your cat and feeding it in a hot dog to his angry pit bull. You know what I mean? And then how did you approach him with your
where you were going with that
but you approach him with your peace and love perspective, like, hey, excuse me, mate, I think it's kind of a bit rude and aggressive that for you to kind of kill my cat and feed him to a dog, and then he's like, sick, get him. Do you know what I mean? How do you peace and love is not working then? So what makes you, how far can you go with turning the other cheek,
Yeah.
Well, it's fun. Yeah, that's definitely very visceral description right there, right?
I know. I keep imagining the cat in a hot dog bun.
Yeah,
but just the thing of it being a mile away. Do you know what I mean? Like you could be almost there. You just set everything up. You put your favorite series or whatever the case may be set up. You've got your recliner chair set up, and you've got your chairs and your sofa, and you've got your popcorn, and you're just about to sit down. You put your bum in the chair and then ding dong, and heaven's a mile away. Do you know what I mean? There's some kind of distraction or something there's always a temptation or something to bring you back,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think also when I listen to the song, like I said, how you if hell was a mile away, I can't do, man. I was driving, it was hot as hell the other day. I was like, damn, it sure was. I go get me.
Hell is outside.
Hell is outside. It was, and then Raggo, you come on, you go burning the Babylon. It's like the arrangement is so so like it's transcendental or something like that, right? And the reason why I like what you said, Asabi, in terms of like heaven is what it means to you, and like to my only conception of heaven that I've conceived in my lifetime that I understand is like I understand that it has to be. I like the saying the beautiful ones are not yet born, or Yikwayama, like the beautiful one representing Osiris. Then I don't think the beautiful ones are yet born in terms of like we're gonna build what we need, and I see it in my lifetime. But I'm okay with that as long as we can set the foundations, because for what is gonna be an Africa that I'm working on that I can't even see. I don't see no heaven. I don't want this European heaven where I'm just sitting up doing good. I don't see no heaven without us, without our people as a whole. And when you realize, I was talking to Zari about this the other day, if you've studied the history of our people, I'm more optimistic than I am pessimistic, in the sense that even though he was a sellout, Negro, lick-spittle, neo-colonial, butt-licking chump, Zionist, Barack Obama.
Barrio?
Yeah, Barrio.
Barrio, that wasn't from the Barrio.
Exactly, right? You think about all that 19th century solidified racial propaganda that they solidified with our defeat back home when they finished off the Ashanti Wars and stuff like that. And then at the end, same 21st century beginning, they had to put that Negro in there just to calm us down. Just to calm us down. Just to pacify us.
The dummy.
There you go.
The dummy.
To always think, because we're their greatest natural resource. The thing is, we don't apply that stuff. We don't apply what we believe is our greatest resource to ourselves. But see, that's okay, because as long as we got people like y'all, we work. Heaven to me, you know what I'm saying, is we working this stuff out, and I'll be dead, and I won't even see it, but I know there's gonna be some children coming after me that's gonna bust them. You see,
James?
Yes.
Two things, yeah. Someone once said that there's a man sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago.
Yes.
And Pat said, boom, he might not change the world, but he's going to spark the ignition to spark it.
The brain.
And so if you don't lay that brick, if you don't put your kid on the bus for him to, you might even live to survive it. Like someone surviving in a war, you might even live to see. But if you don't put them on the bus, if you don't turn around and put the wheel on the vehicle and put something in the petrol or roll them down the hill, heaven ain't going to be a mile away. It's 10,000 miles away kind of thing. So it's for you to turn around and make that first step so that they can get there. And then a mile's a long way, Yeah. Like we just take it for granted because we got car and horse and all these things or whatever. But,
And a lot can happen when you only take 2 steps. So
all right. So just for you to set that 2 steps, because even that as well, you can walk a mile in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. And it's funny because just like I remember a conversation we had with Y2C87, he had said he had said like, we're not even supposed to be having this conversation. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand me? We're family. Yeah. Do you understand? We're family. Like y'all are like, that's why when you encounter another African, you gotta be careful that is your family, not this.
Because they scattered it.
They scattered it. Do you understand what I'm like when they say, well, they stole brothers, sisters, aunties, grandmas. We are, and they never intended for us to talk again. But once we get the conversation started, that's why I like your beautiful ethereal peppermint voice singing Diaspora, because we got to understand we have a diaspora on the continent as well, because they pushed us out of North Africa. They pushed us. We always talk about Kemet, but we don't ever want to talk about who's in Kemet right now. And that don't mean I ain't got no sympathy for what them Zionists is doing to the Palestinians. But I know what the Zionists is doing to us as well. What they did in South Africa, what they're doing in Congo, what they still doing.
But they've been doing.
But they've been doing. But the thing is, we still got to talk about what they're doing to our people in Mauritania. Do you see? But when we don't see the eye and eye, right? Then heaven for me, I don't see no heaven. Me sitting up with a bunch of chicken and whatever and eating good or whatever the hell some Negroes
eating chicken and watermelon.
Well, chicken watermelon with Beyonce looking like a white woman. All right, that's some people's heaven. All right, they want Becky. Okay,
for real.
was a mile away, would I pack up my bags and leave this world behind? If heaven was a mile away, or save it all for you. If heaven was a mile away, would I fill the tank up with gas and be out the front door in a flash? Before we considering this hell with you, it ain't you, it's the things you do that's tearing my heart in two. Would have fell with you, to hell with you.
If heaven was a mile away, just one bus ride away. Pack my bags, catch the first flight today. Born in a Babylon where the sky's always grey. R.I.P. to all those who DOA. Left here to handle, still will be okay. Every day our loved ones are passing away. Talk of the afterlife, can't really say. The soul is forever, but flesh will decay. If heaven was a mile away,
would I pack up my bags and leave this world behind? If heaven was a mile away, or save it all for you. If heaven was a mile away, would I fill my tank up with gas and be out the front door in a flash? Before we considering this hell with you, it ain't you, it's the things you do that's tearing my heart in two. Would I fell with you, to hell with you.
if heaven was a mile away, we just hitch a lift. We must all be welcome, we've got different gifts. If I get my invite, don't ask me to stay. Heaven's got no ghetto where the poor kids gonna play. But if it has, then I will run there, I'll sprint. I'm stuck in a place people don't really think. Crabs in a barrel or hoping you sink. See happiness and sign off your death wishing ink. If heaven was a mile away,
would I pack up my bags and leave this world behind? If heaven was a mile away, or save it all for you. If heaven was a mile away, would I fill the tank up with gas and be out the front door in a flash? Before reconsidering this hell with you, it ain't you, it's the things you do that's tearing my heart in two. Would have fell with you, to hell with you.
if heaven was a mile away,
If heaven was a mile
if
away,
heaven was a mile away,
if heaven was a mile
if heaven was a mile away,
if heaven was a mile
if heaven was a mile away,
if heaven was a mile, if heaven was a mile away, would I pack up my bags and leave this world behind? If heaven was a mile away, or save it all for you. If heaven was a mile away, would I fill the tank up with gas and be out the front door in a flash? Before reconsidering this hell with you, it ain't you, it's the things you do that's tearing my heart in two. Would I fell with you, to hell with you.
All right, this is where we gotta leave it. And that is the conclusion of our series, A Complementary Bond, You and Me, Asabi Hawah, and Raggo Zulu Rebel. But remember, these are just excerpts from part 2. So if you want to listen to this dialogue in its entirety, all you have to do is go to our store. There you will have access not only to this particular interview, but to all of C101's unabridged interviews, musical commentaries, and merchandise. And most importantly, you will be supporting 100% independent media. We promise you, just as with all of our unabridged interviews, the podcast was just the tip of the iceberg. We touch on so much more, so you definitely want to get part 2 of this unabridged interview series from You and Me, where in addition to what you just heard, we discuss how the environment, climate, politics, etc. affects culture and music, and how Western society encourages immaturity. So we know you want to finish hearing what you and me had to say. This episode has featured sounds from Conscientization 101, Decolonize This, Properly Defining Settlers, Part 1 from our musical commentaries collection. Raggo Zulu Rebel, Back to Basics, from his album I Walk Alone. Asabi Hawah, Hold Me, Slow Version, from her Soundcloud page. You and Me, Diaspora and Heaven, from their Folk Songs album. Okay, so thanks again to Sister Asabi and Brother Raggo for taking their time to dialogue with us. And for more info on Asabi and Raggo as artists, as well as their collaborative projects as You and Me, check out the social media and affiliated websites. You and Me Instagram, at YouandMe_2014. For Asabi Hawah, her Twitter is at Asabi_Hawah. Her Instagram is at Asabi_Hawah_music. Facebook is Asabi Hawah, and her website is asabi-hawah.com. And on SoundCloud, just search for Asabi Hawah. For Raggo Zulu Rebel, his Twitter is at Raggo Zulu Rebel, his Instagram at Raggo Zulu Rebel, and at Raggo Zulu Rebel Promo. His Facebook is Raggo Zulu Rebel, and his website is raggozulurebel.com, and his Bandcamp page, just search for Raggo Zulu Rebel. And on his SoundCloud, search for Raggo Zulu Rebel. Links for music featured in this episode and for social media and affiliated websites for You and Me, Asabi and Raggo are available in our show notes. And don't forget, when you visit us at Conscientization101.com or C101magazine.com, sign up to our mailing list for exclusive information and downloads, and also hit up our store. Support 100% independent media. And don't forget to check us out on Twitter at Conscien1, that's CONSCIEN, 1, on Facebook at Conscientization 101, and Instagram at C101 Editors. So we will see you guys next time, and we will be serving up inclement weather for you on our next episode. But not to worry, we are only destroying to rebuild, so it will definitely be a revival. We are out. Peace.